What is up, crew? Welcome to Seek the Edge podcast with me, Kelsey Lensman, where our mission is to challenge you outside of your comfort zone because everything great is on the other side of your comfort zone so you can tap into and live the God-given potential inside. And one thing I pride myself on with this podcast is I love to be transparent. I love to show you all the behind the scenes. And the behind the scenes today is I have tried to start this episode 3 times. And if you're on YouTube, you will see that this episode is actually at my home office and not the normal studio. And the reason being is we have a great guest that I'm dropping a new interview on Monday. But one thing I'm trying to be very intentional about this year is staying consistent. For me, this is personally staying consistent in my personal life with how I'm fueling my body, how I'm training, how I'm showing up for people in my life, but then also professionally too is when I say that I'm going to do something, I do it. And even if it can feel easier to maybe push it off till tomorrow or easier to do it on a different date, I'm like, you know what? You promise an episode a week on Thursday. You're getting an episode a week on Thursday. And so this is the episode that we are dropping today. And it is all about stop negotiating with yourself. Stop negotiating with yourself. And the story that I'm going to intro this actually comes from literally this morning. I think God was like, Kelsey, you're going to speak on this, and I'm going to have you challenge with it this morning so then you can speak on this in this afternoon. So let me bring you back to approximately about 5 hours ago to give you a little backstory. Is last night I went to the Elevation Worship concert with a couple of girlfriends here, and it was just an incredible night. I posted this on my story, but I said that growing up, I was always more friends with guys. Like I was just a sporty girl. I would go play flag football with the girls or with the guys at recess. That was just something that I loved to do. And like, I just would connect with them a lot better. But also I was not into drama, and drama is not my thing. So I just would have a lot of guy friends growing up. But over this past year and a half, it's like God has put so many amazing women in my life, faith-filled women in my life, women that have deep conversations, that we can be honest with one another, that last night was just a pause as I looked around at the 3 women beside me, and I'm like, man, I'm just so grateful to who he's placed in my life. And so anyway, we were at the Elevation Worship concert last night. If you know me, you know that I go to bed around 9:30 latest, and I am a certified grandma, and I'm proud of it. I will, every time my body starts to get tired around 8:30, I slowly start to wind down. Usually I will be in bed or at least heading to bed around 9:15, 9:30. But this concert, it started technically at 7. They went on at 8 o'clock though. And we were there until about 10:30ish. And I finally got home around 11:15. And like I said, I'm a grandma. That was way past my bedtime, but went to bed and was sound asleep within minutes. So my alarm went off this morning. And yes, sometimes you need to sleep and focus on quality sleep. But my alarm went off this morning and I was actually decently awake. But I was so stinking comfortable. Captain, my dog, was laying right beside me. My covers were comfy. It was raining outside, so I can listen to the rain on my windows and my roof. And it was just that moment of, oh my gosh, do I want to stay in bed? Oh my gosh, do I want to stay in bed? And this is comfy. And what started happening, because I normally go in, at least move my body, work out, do my morning routine, which sets me up pretty well throughout the day. But what started happening is I was feeling the warmth in my blankets. I was cuddling with Captain, that was cozy. Is I started getting these thoughts in my brain that said, you don't need to go work out today. Oh, just push it till Sunday. You can do it on Sunday. Remember, you have that built-in day, just do it on Sunday. And then another thought came to my brain of, just stay here 15 more minutes. Oh, 15 more minutes, that's not going to hurt you. Just stay here 15 minutes and then go work out and then you'll be fine. Like, you might be 15 minutes behind, but that's not the end of the world. And then another thought came in as, oh, well, actually, you could do this on Saturday, Kels. I know you said Sunday, but you can do this on Saturday. See, you're not that's fine. You just do it on Saturday. And it was like I was having good angel devil on my shoulder in my brain that was trying to say, convince me to do it a different day. And then this part of my brain was trying to talk myself into just getting out of bed and getting my clothes on to go to the gym. Like, it was just this constant back and forth. And I was literally thinking about thinking, which this is a little glimpse in my brain as I think about thinking. And I was thinking about thinking of, well, I'm wasting time just allowing this kind of mental back and forth ping pong going in my brain. I could have already been halfway to the gym if I would have just gotten out of bed and gone when I said I was going to go. So after about 25 minutes, and yes, I'm being honest, 25 minutes, I would kind of rest my eyes for a little bit, and then a thought would ping up, and then I would kind of justify my way out of just staying in bed. And I'm finally like, okay, you know that you're going to feel better. You know, like, you have been here before. You know that you're not just tired. Like, yes, if you got to sleep, sleep, but you feel good. You feel good enough. And you know by the end of it, it's going to set you up mentally well for the day. You know by the end of it, you are going to feel good going into the day. And you know by the end of it, you tell all of your girls and women that it's about keeping promises to yourself. And you can't speak out and say something that you're also not willing to do. And so finally, after 25 minutes, I got out of bed, I brushed my teeth, and I went and did my little morning routine, read my Bible, got my pre-workout breakfast, and I went to the gym. And let me tell you, as I did today was just a zone 2 cardio day. So as I did my little zone 2 cardio, I was sweating, but I felt so good. I felt so good that I kept that promise to myself. I felt so good that I was heading into the day, not just mentally clear, but like physically feeling good. I felt so good that I showed up for me, even when the thoughts and the voices were trying to persuade me of just pushing it off later. Because I knew myself, if it was Saturday or if it was Sunday, the same thought processes would be in my brain. It would try to convince me to do it later on Sunday or do it later on Saturday. And I knew that was happening. I would not want to do it on those days either. So the reason why I tell you that story, the elaborate story of that, is to tell you to stop negotiating with yourself in your goals and your standards. And that story might seem so small, like, oh, Kels, what's the big deal? But what people don't realize is when we start entertaining that negotiation with ourselves, when we start entertaining I'll just do it later, and then later comes and then we find another reason why we should do it even later, we realize that not only does it halt momentum and it stops momentum, but it builds up distrust with ourselves. That now we don't trust ourselves that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. And this starts the slow unraveling of that self-sabotage. And why is negotiating with yourself important to acknowledge and to realize when it comes up is because we all do it. Literally, we all do it. I don't care if you are the top high-level athlete. We all have these thoughts in our brain of trying to justify why to do something later. We all have these thoughts in our brain of trying to put off something that is either physically hard or mentally taxing, because that's how our physiology is wired. Like, we are literally wired to stay safe, to stay comfortable, to not exert too much energy. And that's not a bad thing about your physiology. It actually tries to help you. But what many people don't realize is they think that it's only them. Oh, I'm the only one that struggles getting out of bed or struggles getting in a workout in the morning. And man, there's just people that wake up and are ready to get after it. And there might be some people, but many people have to constantly self-check and be self-aware of what their brain is saying and what decisions they're making based on it. And those that are not just high performers, but those that are actually progressing towards their goals, whether this be physically in fitness, this is such a good example in fitness because this happens all the time. Whether this be in your personal life, in business, is those that actually pursue and make progress towards their goals. Those are the people that stop negotiating with themselves. They stop negotiating and losing the battle of that little voice talking them out of it. And now they start talking themselves into it. is they notice, oh, little voice, I know what you're trying to do. I know what thoughts you're putting in my brain. I know why you're trying to go down this little rabbit hole and trying to justify why I should do it later. Like I can see you. But just because I can hear you and I can see you doesn't mean that I listen to you. And when we can start picking and choosing what thoughts we then take action from, that's where not only do you have confidence from that, but that's where your self-trust is built up. And one of the phrases I love the most is self-trust is self-confidence, is when people that struggle with confidence are like, where do I start? And they think it's, well, when I get the body, or when I get the money in my bank account, or when I get here, then I'll be confident. It's this if-then type of game. And I've been there, guys. Trust me, I have been there. I know exactly what that's like. But what many people don't realize is self-trust or self-confidence is just self-trust. That when you keep the promises you make to you, and that when you keep the promises that you said you're going to do, that will build up self-trust within you that, dang, when she says something, she actually follows through with it. And then that will transfer to confidence. Is your confidence does not just come from an outcome. It comes from the action and the process and the consistency in you keeping your word. And so then in the future, when you say you're going to do it, you actually show up and do it. And that's where that confidence starts to compound. And I love to explain it like this, especially when I speak at schools, is let's say I have it out. We'll use my dog. Who should we use? We'll use my girl, Ashley. Okay. Let's say Ash and I are really close friends. And she tells me, Kels, on Friday, let's go meet at Chipotle. We're going to grab dinner. And I said, perfect. Let's go to Chipotle. That sounds great. Not very fancy, but let's go get some Chipotle. She said, okay, meet me there at 7. I said, cool. That sounds great, Ash. I'll meet you there at 7. But then 6:50 rolls around on Friday and I shoot her a text and I say, oh, Ash, I'm sorry. Can't make it tonight. Like, can we reschedule for next week? She's like, oh yeah, that's not a big deal. It's one time, right? That's not a big deal. And then next Friday rolls around and now it's 6:55 and she's at the Chipotle door. She's waiting for me. She's so excited to get her steak burrito, whatever she likes. And then she gets a text from me, bing. Oh, Ash, I'm sorry. Can't make it tonight. She'd be probably a little frustrated, okay? Probably a little bit frustrated that I didn't follow through, that I'm not showing up. But she's okay. Let me give her another time. Let's go next Friday. Okay, next Friday comes. Once again, she gets her kids home from school. She goes and meets me at Chipotle. And 6:58 rolls around. Bing! Sorry, Ash. Oh, I'm sorry. Can't make it. Can't come. Do you think that she will have confidence in me that the next time she says, hey, let's go grab dinner or let's go to this thing, that I'm actually going to follow through? No. Nobody would have confidence in somebody that after 3 consecutive times that they said that they're going to do something and then they don't do it, they're not going to have confidence that then they're going to show up. And that makes total amount of sense. Okay? They're probably going to maybe stop inviting me to dinner. They might build a little bit of resentment or frustration with me. Makes a ton of sense, right? I said I was going to do something. I didn't show up. Last minute, I decided to go a different direction. The same thing happens with you and your body. The same thing happens with you and your body. That when you say you're going to do something, and then just like me this morning, that little thought, ping, pops up. Oh, Kels, oh, you could do this instead. Oh, just do that later. You don't need to do this right now. It might not seem like one time's a big deal. Just like to Ashley, one time wasn't a big deal. But then that second time. But then that third time. And then what they don't realize is after a little while, it's not that they can't go work out. It's not that they can't do something. But it's that they've built up now this belief system that, well, when she says she's going to do something, she doesn't really do it. So she just kind of filling herself with a load of BS, for a lack of a better way to say it, that, ooh, this is the time I'm going to focus on my fitness. Ooh, this is the time that I'm going to do it. Now she's built up a track record with herself that has built proof for why she's not going to achieve the goal or work towards the goal, then actually that she will. And go back to the building proof episode where I talk about building legs on the table and why building proof is so incredibly important. But this is where that belief then becomes an identity. Oh, let's take it full circle, where now she not only has a belief system of, oh, she doesn't follow through with her commitments. Now she has an identity of, I am a failure, or I am somebody that doesn't follow through with myself. She might not ever admit it consciously, but it's this operating system, just like my computer has an operating system behind the scenes. She has an operating system in her brain that whenever she talks about a goal, or whenever she has a new goal that she wants to go after, her brain subconsciously looks at her track record and says, oh, she doesn't have a really good track record with this. So yeah, let's have her talk about this goal, but then let's continue to prove herself to be correct that she doesn't actually achieve any of the goals that she sets out to. Okay. And this might seem, Kels, you just try to talk yourself out of it once. Like, it's not a big deal. And once might not be as big of a big deal. But what happens is when it happens second and third, and now this just becomes a part of your normal. And so the best way for this, actually, I had a friend who has a podcast that was talking about just the different principles that he's learned over time in a specific program that he's in. And he said, stop living in the gray area. And I absolutely love this. Stop living in the gray area of some is not bad, others not bad. Like, let's kind of be in this gray area versus a black and white. And many people get themselves stuck in this gray area because there is a lot of gray area in life. There is a lot of this can be good, but this can also not be as beneficial. Like, and people can get really stuck there. And allow this to be something for everybody that's listening to not be a gray area thing for you. I either follow through with what I'm going to say, or I don't. Like, let no negotiations be happening. It's either I'm building proof that I keep my commitments, or I'm not. Allow it to be as black and white as that, because when we remove the gray area from life, we're now no longer allowing ourselves to be in this little limbo that actually keeps people stuck in a lot. And so as we're thinking about this, the goal here is building that self-trust, and the goal here is keeping your promises to yourself. Building that self-trust and keeping promises to yourself. And one phrase I have been saying over and over to our clients at Expand Your Limits is go to bed proud. Go to bed proud. Make your decisions that day, during that day, that as you put your head on the pillow at night, you can put your head on the pillow and say, man, I am so proud of how I showed up for me today. I am so proud of me choosing the choices that I did today versus maybe autopilot or how my brain wanted to choose. And I'm telling you, when you consistently go to bed proud, it doesn't mean every single day you're going to be perfect. You're human, okay? But when you focus on going to bed proud, you'll realize that you make different decisions during the day than you would if you were just be on this autopilot. And so allow your goal to be this upcoming week is going to bed proud. Go to bed proud. Be proud of how you showed up. Make your decisions based on how you want to go to bed that night. Are you going to be regretful of this or frustrated? Or are you going to be proud of the woman that chose to go work out versus just stay in bed because I didn't want to? And allow that to be your North Star. And I'm telling you, it makes your decisions so much easier throughout the day. And a little caveat to this, like I said, you are human. You are not going to have a track record. If you are amazing, but you're not going to have a track record of 100 out of 100 of you keeping promises. There's going to be one day where that willpower muscle is going to be really weak and your brain's going to talk you into something that then afterward you were frustrated about. It's inevitable. It's like you're human. It's a part of life. However, this is also where people get stuck, is then they break that promise and then they go down the spiral of, oh, I can't believe I did that. They get so frustrated with themselves. Then they start getting incredibly down on themselves with it and emotional, when instead we just want to take it as data. Okay, did I break a promise? Yes, I broke a promise to myself. Okay, did I say I was going to do it and I didn't? Yes, it happened. Okay, first, why did it happen? What led to that? Well, I hit my snooze button a couple times, and every time I hit it, it was just a little bit easier for me to talk myself out of doing the thing that I said I was going to do. Or, well, you know what? I've been really overloading my plate. And so I've realized that I've been too overloaded to even keep some of the simple promises to myself. That was me last year. Okay. We get objective about it and then we understand why. when we can get objective and then we understand, well, what happened or what influenced this, then we get to choose differently after. Now, it's no longer something that we just get emotional and frustrated and then start berating ourselves with. We say, okay, that happened. Yes, that happened. I don't get emotional about it. I don't freak out about it. Okay, because that happened, what led to those things? And okay, what would I have chose differently or what would I have done differently? And then you go do the different thing. Allow every challenge or what you can foresee as a setback or thing that you didn't follow through, allow it to be an opportunity for you to grow through. Instead of getting emotional and getting stuck, allow it to be an opportunity for you to grow through, to understand why, and then choose differently after. Okay? And so as I walked out of the gym this morning, I walked out, I was sweaty, I felt really good, body felt good, mind felt clear. And as I got into my car, I said, you know what? This morning could have gone completely different. I could have let that negotiation sink in. I still would have had focused on winning the day with my power list, but that's going to plant a seed in me of you didn't follow through with what you said you're going to do. That's going to plant a seed that as I do check-ins with clients today, I know that I didn't follow through. So then how can I be the person to tell these people to follow through when I know that that wasn't something that I did or I wasn't in alignment with it? And when we can head out of something knowing that we didn't let that little voice win, or knowing that we didn't allow negotiations to happen and we instead stuck to our standards and stuck to the goals that we had, I'm telling you, it makes you feel unshakable. You have this like, all right, you're not winning today, thoughts. You're not winning today. Things that are trying to steer me off path. And many times goals are achieved not by the output that you do, but by the battlefield of the mind. Goals are achieved by who wins the battlefield of the mind. And when we can, for us, surrender it to God and understand, okay, when is that thought of God? And then when is that thought of the adversary? When is it trying to steer me off path? Because I have a plan, I have a purpose, I have a mission that I'm on. And when it's trying to steer me off path, that's not advantageous and helpful for me. Okay. So you have too much purpose. You have too much mission. You have too much things that you are chosen for to allow negotiations to be the one thing to hold you back. Okay. So I'm going to summarize this as stop negotiating with yourself and start speaking to yourself. Tell yourself what you're going to do. Tell yourself that you're going to follow through with it, and then become the person that follows through at the end of the day. Love you guys. Learn from my many, many mistakes. And like I said, you'll never be perfect with it, but our goal is to continually get better. Have an amazing rest of your day.